You got that was quick. Is Bethany on?
She just got on.
Oh, okay. Like, wow. It's like
It's
magic.
I'm gonna give her just another minute and then I'll get started.
I like your top, Ashley.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
On the top, I'm wearing sweatpants on the bottom.
Your hair looks so good too. Did you do something different? Did you cut it?
No, I just curled it so it like makes it look a little bit shorter.
So pretty.
Thank you.
Hey y'all, we're gonna get started around like 8:31, 8:32. We're gonna give people a chance to hop in. So give us just a couple minutes and we'll get started. Thanks for being here.
All right, Bethany, I'll go ahead and get started. All right, good evening, everyone. We're super excited to kick off this opportunity event. My name is Ashley Hecht. I have been an advocate with Green Compass for just about a year and a half now. I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. I am a mom of two, soon to be three. And I have worked in clinical research for just under 6 years. So I started Green Compass as like a side gig, as many people do, but it has quickly turned into more than that. And with having two kids, I cannot guarantee they're not going to come busting that door, but I have done my best to try to prevent that from happening. The reason I'm excited to kick this off is because of this little tincture right here, and telling you guys how much it has changed my life and my family's life. So a little over 6 years ago, I had my son, and I had the typical baby blues that a lot of moms get postpartum. My son was not sleeping, as a lot of newborns don't, but his was prolonged to like 9 months. I was crying all the time. I started to feel like I was losing all control of everything. I was very snappy with my husband and my mom and my sisters, and my husband was just kind of at a loss. He suggested that I try CBD, and I knew nothing about CBD, but at that point I was like, what do I really have to lose? I didn't really know any better at the time, so I bought some from a local shop down the street, and it worked. From that point on, fast forward 2 years later, I was diagnosed with skin cancer, and that made me keenly aware of the things that I was putting in and on my body and how that was going to affect my life as a mom. And it really opened my eyes to paying more attention to quality. So fast forward 2 more years later, my son started exhibiting a lot of significant behavior issues, a lot of sensory overstimulation. And it was around that time my friend Ashley Shower introduced me to Green Compass. I had already taken CBD and been taking it, so I knew that it worked for me, but I also knew at that time that I was looking for a quality product and enter Green Compass. She introduced me to this oil tincture, and it completely changed my life. I was a mom who I still, and don't get me wrong, I still can be, but I was a mom who screamed at my kids when I felt like I was losing control. I was snapping at my husband all the time. And what we have found that this is able to do, me and my husband, both of us, we're able to take a step back and take a breath and think rationally about how we're going to handle things with our kids. When my son is having a meltdown in the grocery store, I used to not know what to do, and I would have a meltdown of my own. Now I'm able to think clearly and stress less about things that I realize are not in my control, and handle the things that are in my control, which is my reaction to what is happening with him. So once we had the success that we did, both me and my husband, he's been taking it just as long as I have. He has a really stressful job, and so it helps him maintain a level head at work. Once I had so much success and realized what it was doing for me and my family, I realized, who am I not to share this with all of my mom friends that I know are struggling with the same, if not similar, situations that I am. So that is when I decided to join the business. I realized that this has the potential to change people's lives, and it's not just a skincare or a hair care product. This is something that does so much more than that for the people I care about. So it's the products that, introduced me to Green Compass, but the business is the reason that I stay. My dearest friends tonight are going to share a few of their stories. I believe that many of their stories, if not one of them, will resonate with you. And if not, I can almost guarantee that there is someone in your life who shares a similar experience to what they do. I have the honor of introducing you to my friend, Maddie Capps. She is another fellow mama with a powerful testimony, and her story really resonated with me as being a mom who struggles with overwhelm and young kids. So she suffered from a lot of the same things. So I'm going to hand it off to her.
All right. Hey, y'all. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Okay, cool. So thanks, Ashley. I love hearing your story too, because there is a lot of overlap between ours. My name is Maddie Capps. I live in Shelby, North Carolina. I'm a wife, a former high school math teacher, and now a stay-at-home mom to my kids, Porter, who is 3, and Leighton, who is 18. Well, I guess 19 months now. I've been an advocate for almost a year and a half. I'm going to share my story pretty in depth because it's really at the core of why I work this business. So like Ashley said, my story is very similar to hers in that I struggled a lot postpartum. My struggles actually go back a lot further than me having kids, but that's definitely when they hit their peak when I was postpartum. My providers had given me several options to help me cope with my anxiousness and specifically intrusive thoughts. But after I had my son, things just got worse for me mentally. I didn't really recognize after having him exactly how bad they had gotten. So I just kept with the same strategies I had used for almost 10 years of my life and thought that was just as good as it got. Fast forward to after I had my daughter in January of 2021, the depths of my struggles had gotten to a level where I honestly didn't recognize myself anymore. I avoided places, people, activities, things that used to bring me joy because they now triggered intrusive thoughts unlike anything I had experienced prior. I told my midwife about this at my 6-week checkup, and she suggested a few different options for me to try alongside therapy, and they helped. But there was a trade-off because I started having some negative side effects that were affecting my marriage, my parenting, and just life in general. And so I knew it wasn't a long-term solution. Right around that time, my friend Bethany, who you'll hear from a little later, started texting me about CBD. And I honestly had no idea what it was. I guess I had been living under a rock because everyone else knew about it. But I Googled it and cannabis leaves came up. And I was like, Bethany, is this weed that you're trying to get me to take? I didn't know anything. But then she sent me a video of Meredith Cook. sharing her story. Meredith is our founder and president. She's a North Carolina native, a wife, and a mom who struggled exactly like I did postpartum. Every time I hear her tell her story, I get emotional because I so vividly remember feeling the exact way that she describes, not wanting to get out of her bed, not being excited to hold her baby, just not feeling the joy that she had felt before. And it's scary and it's hard to admit feeling those things out loud. But 1 in 3 women struggle with things like that during the 4th trimester. I'm one of them. Meredith was one of them. Odds are, if you're a mom on this call, you're also probably one of them. But more than sharing her struggles, Meredith shared about her solution. So her brother Brooks is who introduced her to CBD. And she described it as feeling like the fog had lifted. She was smiling again, she was laughing again, and she felt like herself again. And that's what I wanted. So I did have a few more skepticisms that I had to debunk with a little bit of education. And Katie is going to touch a little more on the quality of our products. But going back to Meredith's story, her brother introduced her to CBD, but it wasn't Green Compass at the time. What led to the birth of our company was the fact that Meredith also wanted a CBD that she could give her entire family, including her children. A quick Google search will tell you that the CBD industry is unregulated. 80% of hemp comes from China, where they use it to clean the air. And obviously, Meredith, being a good mom, was not willing to put trash, for lack of a better term, into her kids' bodies. So I knew if these products started with a mom who wanted something clean and safe for her kids, I could definitely trust it for myself, but also for my family. We all take it now. Myself, my husband, my kids, even our dog takes CBD. I don't have time to unpack why we all take it, but if you do some research on the endocannabinoid system and the benefits of a clean CBD product, your mind will be blown. So after I knew the potential that CBD had to help me, and I knew about the integrity of the company, I ended up buying a business kit because I love a discount. I always tell people one of my hidden talents is that I rarely pay full price for anything. I will always find a coupon or promo code. But I started from that kit with an oil tincture. Within a few days, I noticed that I was sleeping better, which was a big deal because my youngest was 4 months old at that time. Within a couple of weeks, I noticed that the negative side effects that I was experiencing started to subside. Within a month, I knew I was on the right track and was able to start backing away from some of the options provided by my midwife. And within 3 months, CBD was all I needed to feel like myself again. So I genuinely did not think the way that I feel now is possible after dealing with mental health issues for so long. But now to be in control of my own thoughts instead of the other way around, to be able to do things that I enjoy without fear, to feel like the best version of myself and be able to serve my family in that capacity has been the biggest blessing. And the fact that I've been able to build a business out of that is just so cool. So I mentioned before that I'm a former teacher, but during the COVID year is when I got pregnant with my daughter. I got a taste of what it was like to be a stay-at-home mom with my son when we had virtual learning from March until June. And then my husband and I made the decision for me not to go back after that. We did not have the finances figured out. We had to live on a very strict budget to allow for me to stay home, but enter Green Compass again. So what had started as a decision for me to save money on my own products has now allowed me to comfortably embrace full-time motherhood, and it's the best thing. If I'm being 100% honest and transparent, I had tried and failed at this business model twice. But what has made Green Compass so different for me is the fact that what we have at our fingertips has not only changed my life, but it's helped so many different people with so many different things. And I couldn't keep that to myself, like Ashley said. And one of my favorite things that I've heard Meredith say is, even if there was not a single dollar attached to these products, we would still find a way to get them in people's hands because they are really changing lives. So I have fervently prayed for the relief I have now, for an opportunity to be able to share about the struggles and speak into others' lives who are dealing with it. And this opportunity has allowed me to do that. So that's my story, but I'm going to pass it to Katie now. I hope I didn't talk too long.
Thank you, Maddie. That was amazing. My name is Katie. I live in Wake Forest, North Carolina. I am a mom of two. I have Jocelyn, who is 5, Jonathan, who will be 2 in November. I am married. My husband owns his own business, and I am a full-time hairdresser and went out on my own, owning my own business about a year and a half ago. So being a business owner is definitely something very new to me. But I love it because I love the flexibility to be home when I want to be home, be with my kids when I want to be with my kids, have the schedule that I want to have. That was very, very important to me. How I got introduced to CBD. Well, first, I'm going to say that I'm sober. I've been sober. It will be 11 years in February. I am extremely proud of that. I have worked very hard to get where I am. So when CBD was introduced to me, I was like, no, because I was terrified. I didn't know anything about it. And I thought it was going to get me high, basically. I was like, no, 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 no. My husband has chronic Lyme disease, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, some circulatory issues, cluster headaches, quite a few health challenges. And when Ashley Shower, who you'll probably hear her name a few times, when she mentioned CBD to me, I started doing a little bit of research, started asking her some questions, and was like, okay, I'm going to get it, and I'm going to get it for my husband because he has all the problems. I don't have any. It's funny. It's funny now because I really didn't think I had any. So we got him using it. And what you need to know about my husband is that 2 weeks after our honeymoon, he was diagnosed with Lyme disease, and he didn't work for almost a year. He couldn't walk. He couldn't go to the bathroom by himself. There was a lot going on. And we spent probably $25,000 to $30,000 out of pocket to try to find him help, only to be told that they no longer knew what was wrong with him and best of luck. And it was not good. It took a toll on our marriage. It took a toll on him. It took a toll on me. It took a toll on everybody. And we needed a solution, and we needed something now. We did find a medication that did help with his chronic pain. And so I was very thankful for that. But when we found CBD, it started helping with a lot of other things. And I don't want to make medical claims because we're not allowed. And two, like, I don't want to make any medical claims, but I can just tell you that CBD has really changed and helped him in a lot of ways, so much to the point now that we are now coming off of his medications and we are only using CBD as well as other supplements that his body needs because blah, 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 it's depleted. Yeah. So that's a big deal. It's a big deal that we're able to do this transition into something more natural and something a lot cleaner and safer for him that doesn't have the really harsh side effects that a lot of other stuff do. And so I'm talking because I'm nervous, but it's very emotional for me. And it's a big deal. It's a really, really big deal. So we're on a journey. And if anybody would like to talk to me about more of that, I would love to share it because his testimony and his story it's a big deal for our family. Once I started noticing it worked for Joe, I immediately was like, well, I'll try it. I don't know what could be wrong with me. Well, oh my God. Well, first of all, I'm sober. So clearly something was wrong with me at one point in my life. I had suffered for years and years and years and years with crippling anxious feelings, anxious thoughts, intrusive thoughts, obsessive thoughts. Just my mind going 10,000 miles a minute. I didn't know how to stop it. I didn't know what was going to come out of my mouth. A lot of times I would just make stuff up because I couldn't get out what I was really trying to say. I would walk into a room. I'd be crippled with fear of what other people thought, what they were thinking. I mean, just having to use the bathroom every 5 to 10 minutes because I just, something was wrong. Okay. And I had tried a lot of things in the past and nothing really seemed to work. And when I started taking CBD, it was after my son. And I've always been an overreactor. I've always been overly emotional. I've always been anxious. I've always been these things. So to me, that's just a normal way to live until I took CBD and started having a different reaction. And I was like, oh my God, like this is normal. This is a healthy way to react to my daughter who's screaming at me or get in a confrontation, or I don't have to over dramatize everything and overreact. And I just didn't know that I could live that way. I really didn't know. So CBD has helped me just really, really, really take it down about 18 levels. And it's not that I don't still get anxious. It's not that I don't still overreact sometimes. It's not that I'm some perfect angel that fell out of Jesus's hands. I'm just way more aware of my behavior. More aware of my reactions. I'm just more aware in general. I have more control over myself, if that makes any sense. So I'm so thankful. But again, finding something that is quality based is what's so important, because yeah, there is CBD out there, guys. It's everywhere. It is everywhere. I mean, everywhere from the grocery store to Amazon to people selling it in these little tents out on the street. Like, but it comes from China. Most of it comes from China, where they use it to regulate their air pollution. And then they put it in a bottle and then you ingest it. Well, then what are you ingesting? Herbicides, pesticides, heavy metals, like all of these things. So knowing what goes into your body and how it's made and where it comes from, it's very, very important. A lot of times, I guess we've just been taught for so long that we don't need to ask questions. Well, we do. We need to know what's going into our bodies, especially if I'm trying to get better, if my husband's trying to get better, and then potentially I want to give this to my children, like I care even more with them. So why Green Compass is different than other CBD that you will find, there's a few reasons. One in particular, we are USDA certified organic. That seal, that certification, it's very difficult to get. It takes a long time to get that. And the fact that we have it is huge. We are the only social selling company that is USDA certified organic. So that is a big, big deal. So we don't have any pesticides. We don't have any herbicides. We don't have any heavy metals. Everything is organic, from the soil that the seed goes into. Everything is USDA certified organic. We are also third-party lab tested. I've got some products in front of me. So on every one of our products comes a QR code. So it's the certificate of analysis, which means you can scan that and it will tell you every single thing that is in it. We're very transparent. We don't leave anything out. We don't leave any questions unanswered. And I love that, because you don't always get that everywhere you go. We are also vertically integrated, which means our hands are in the process from the time we start it to the time we finish it. So the farming, the harvesting, the extracting, the bottling, the labeling, the shipping, everything we do in-house. And that's amazing too, because when it gets to you, I mean, I ordered today and it's already told me that it's shipping. I'm like, oh, okay, great, I'll have it tomorrow. But knowing that all these other people's hands are in it that could possibly mess it up is quite comforting for me. So quality is everything, and having a company that you can trust and that will answer any questions you have. And even with my customers or potential people who want to join this business, I don't know everything. I don't pretend to know everything. I learn something new every single day. So if I don't have the answers, I will go ask someone who does, and I will get back with you. So quality is everything. I'm so thankful that I have found this product. It has changed my life. It has changed my husband's life, and it has very much changed my daughter's life too. That's a story for a different day, but thank you so much. And I'm going to pass it on to Bethany, who is amazing and a former teacher as well, but she will tell you all about it. Thanks.
Thank you, Katie. So yeah, like Katie said, my name is Bethany Hartley. I live in South Carolina, the coastal area, kind of like the Myrtle Beach area. I am a former high school English teacher. I am a wife to my husband, Seth. I am a soon-to-be mom to a little baby boy who is growing very quickly in my tummy. And I've been with Green Compass for a little over a year and a half. And I'm going to keep this pretty short and sweet, but I get to talk to y'all a little bit more about why this has been such an incredible opportunity, not only for the ladies that are talking with me tonight, but it can be for you too. So you've heard a lot about testimonials from these ladies, how CBD is helping them, how it's helping their family. You've heard a lot about how we stand for quality and transparency as a company. I get to elaborate a little bit more about the business side and the industry and kind of where we are and why, when I was looking for more, this perfectly aligned with my hopes and my dreams for myself and my family, and why I couldn't help but say yes. So just quick background, I taught high school English for 6 years, and I thought that it was something that would carry me to a 30-year career that I would retire from. But quickly, I realized that my job that I used to be so passionate about was the very thing that was causing me to turn into someone that I did not know. So a lot of anxiousness, a lot of racing thoughts. But then on top of that, I knew that I wanted more for my family in the sense that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And I used to hate on women that said that and like, no, like we need to be in the workforce. But I realized very quickly whenever my husband and I started planning for our future that I didn't want to miss the moments, no matter how small or large. And I got to a place where I wanted more, and I was searching more for my mental health because I knew I needed something, and I knew I didn't want to go the medicinal route. And I wanted more in terms of flexibility, time freedom, and finances. And what I was doing at the time wasn't working. Teaching was just not cutting it, if I'm being honest. And I was pretty miserable. I also am a former direct sales hater, believed in all of the negative hype and the negative stereotype that revolves around it. And it was lack of education on my part. I quickly would turn my nose up at anyone who approached me with direct sales because I had assumptions in my brain that I failed to unpack and ask questions regarding. And so that's on me, right? So like I said, I was in a desperate place, and I had been watching my friend Lindsay Petty, who for 2 years was not only thriving because of hemp wellness that she was using personally, giving to her 2-year-old daughter. And that intrigued me for my personal health, but I saw her thriving on the business side, loving what she was doing, having time freedom, having flexibility, frankly, had way more money than I had, and I wanted that. And for a long time, I've grappled with some selfishness, but it's okay for you to want more for your family. Hear me say that. So what I did was I asked her questions, and I opened my mind, and the answers that she provided me with led me to a place where I knew Green Compass was going to match my dreams and my hopes and my prayers for my family. So I said yes. So I would like to walk you through what those are, just really quickly. And then I'm going to pass it to Elisa, who's going to walk through a little bit more of the numbers and the stats. But so for me, you heard Katie, Ashley, and Maddie talk through our commitment to quality and transparency. That was a big thing for me because I knew nothing about CBD and I was kind of sketched out about it. The second thing is that we have a product that people need, not a product that people want. So we aren't a pair of leggings. We aren't a pair of cookware. We aren't makeup. We are a product that our bodies need and crave. And I don't have time to get into the science, but I can tell you more if you want to talk later. Our target market is literally every mammal. So if a living being has a spine, they have a need for cannabinoids, which is what CBD is. And so that intrigued me. I knew that it was more than just my mama's makeup company, that I could connect and help tons of people, thousands of people. The potential was unlimited. For me, with my busy schedule, I knew that I could do it because it was virtual. I could make it fit around my schedule and not the other way around where I was going to have to clock in. I formulated a trust in the products because of the answers that she gave me, Lindsay, a trust in our founders because of their story, and a trust in their vision for the future because I learned about what they had planned 10, 20 years from now. We're not just winging this. We know what's coming. And so with all of the answers that I was getting, I had some fears pop into my brain, like, I'm going to have to learn something new. I'm going to have to do something for the first time. What are people's opinions of me going to be? What if my schedule is too busy or I can't handle it? But I slowed myself down and realized that none of those fears and hesitations were worth missing the reward that was on the other side. I got to the place where I thought, if I say no to this, all I can think of is a year from now, I'm going to continue watching these other girls who were willing, and boys, by the way, who were willing to try something new and at least give it a try, and it reap all the benefits and the rewards. And here I am, because of one fear or one hesitation, I said no, and I missed out on all of that. So I can tell you that a year and a half later, Green Compass has provided answers to mine and my husband's prayers and much more. I am in a better place mentally. I can sleep now. I am myself again. I don't have racing thoughts. I'm not biting people's heads off. It's helped so many people in my family, but more than that, I have been able to walk away from my teaching career. It's taken some work, I'm not going to lie, but we're on the other side of our prayers being answered. I'm living the life that I prayed for a year and a half ago, and it still gives me chills to think about that. So like I said, I've been able to walk away from my teaching career. I'm now in the top 1% of the company. And y'all, I knew nothing. I knew nothing about direct sales, nothing about CBD. And with a little bit of work and support and education, you can do this too. But that doesn't happen without a commitment to quality, products that deliver, and a business model that works. So I'm going to pass it to Elisa, and she's going to talk through a little bit of numbers. And I want you to remember, as she talks through these numbers, that these numbers represent people, human beings that have been changed for the better because of hemp wellness, physically, emotionally, and financially. So Elisa, I'll let you finish it up.
Thank you, ladies. You're all tough act to follow. And I am always so elated to hear your stories, because they're all so compelling in their own right. And they bring me to so many emotions myself. My story is, of course, a little bit different. I'm Elisa. I live in upstate New York, and I'm a business owner and entrepreneur myself. And I joined Green Compass 3.5 years ago. I knew absolutely nothing about CBD when I joined. Being a business owner, I'm always looking for ways to diversify my income. And for me, I am a single woman. I don't have any children. So I was married for 11 years. And being single, I had to start over, completely start over, like literally from the ground up. When I mean start over, like didn't even get a couch for my house, start over. Okay. So for me, I'm thinking like, I have to provide financial freedom for myself. And I would love to have a family of my own one day. Wasn't able to have children with my ex-husband. So in the back of my mind, and one of my whys is, I want to be able to not only support myself and help my family, but I would love to have a family of my own one day, right? And so that is something that is hard to do on your own. It's hard to do with a 2-person household, let alone on your own. And because of this business, I am able to provide not only for myself, I am working at feeding into my retirement for myself so that I don't have to work forever. And I am able to support, I just brought in a foreign exchange student from Italy. She's going to be my daughter for the next year. And I'm able to support a child on my own. And I couldn't do this without this business. It is providing financial freedom and stability for me. We have such a gift, my friends. These products are not only changing people's lives physically and emotionally, but they are changing our lives financially with the business aspect. We are in a sweet spot, my friends, a sweet spot. When I tell you we are ground level, we are ground level. We are just getting started. We are in these startup phases. Between the first and third year, you are in the building of the foundation of a company and the startup phases. We have less than 20,000 advocates, which means like that's the beginning infancy stages. We actually only have about 6,000 advocates who are actually active. So this is literally the perfect time to get started. The industry is exploding. When I started, they were projecting the industry to be at about 22 billion by 2022. Now they're projecting it to be about $49 billion by 2028. So not only is Green Compass exploding, but the industry itself is exploding. Green Compass makes up 5% of all CBD sales in the entire country, which is huge. And again, that's in our infancy stages and just getting started. Can you imagine as we really start to become a household name? Because CBD is everywhere right